Okay, today I'm trying to make a video here on these Mossbergs and why they keep pumping and don't lock up. If you pull this forward, you watch that bolt. See, it's a little crooked now. Okay, that just locked it up in right here. Now when you pull the trigger, you watch, that's going to drop down. Barely see it, but it dropped down, and that's to release this pump arm. Now what happens if you come up here and that don't lock in? A lot of times it's the wiggle right here. It's a wiggle right here on these triggers. If that trigger falls down far enough, that block's not going to lock up in that pin. What's happening there? This is the end of a barrel. There's your bolt. There's that piece going to lock into your barrel. As that goes into place. Now this is a 20 gauge bolt and a 12 gauge barrel. I just grabbed stuff to show you here real quick, and this is actually a 20 gauge. But what happens is that bolt goes up into that hole in that barrel. That square hole right here. Now sometimes them don't match up right, or if you want to, a lot of people do this, and I'm not recommending it, but they clean this up around here, smooth this up so it'll slide quicker, and actually it's not locking as tight, but it's locking quicker. You can pump faster. I don't do that myself, but I've seen people do it. But sometimes if you have a locking problem where this bolt isn't going to lock up into this barrel right here, this gun will just keep on racking, like right now how it's stuck. It'll just keep racking like the guy in the video made earlier today on here. Yeah, this is a shitty old gun, and yeah, you got your wiggle. He showed the wiggle in here. You got your wiggle on, and that's because these are pinned right here. It's not a tube. I actually, somewhere here. Here, right here. See, look, even these double tubes. So look at the play in that. Hear it? They're not tight. Here's another one of them plastic ones. It's not tight. That's a single one off the 20 gauge. Somewhere here I have a loose one. You can look right on the front. Oh, I had a broken trigger in here I was going to show. Actually, don't mind my tourism. Let's stop and have some coffee. There we go. You look at this bolt, or this trigger. The mirrors are broke off right there. And what that does, that lets the front of this drop down a hair. When that drops down a hair, that lets this drop down a hair. Your bolt isn't locked into your barrel. You can keep pumping all day. And in the video I was watching the guy, I should have cut his name, showed on him, when he was pumping his, you could see his bolt wasn't going up in and locking. You could see that top part of his bolt. You could look in there and see it wasn't going up in. So he's either got a trigger issue right here with this playing the trigger, or I seen he had a pistol grip on there. I've seen where when you put these on, if they touch your gun here too much into the bottom of the trigger, when you tighten that handle up, you push down on the front of that and cause that. That's how them get broke off sometimes. So you want to watch when you're tightening up these pistol grips and pistol grip stocks, that you have space under your trigger right there, which you'll see right there. This one does. If you don't have that space, you can actually push up on the trigger and cause that front to come down, and that barrel won't lock in. Now, I've used that for my advantage, and I took them triggers that are broke in the front. I put a pistol grip on them, and I put enough shim in here to where that'll hold that trigger up in place and the gun will function again. So you can get a trigger. I have done that. But you can literally see, I bet his trigger don't pull when he does that too. Because when your barrel isn't, when it isn't locked all the way up in like that, your trigger's not going to pull. That's hard to do with one hand. That's where he needs to look. Okay, my power's going to go off. You have a good one. Good Sunday. Have a good Sunday.